Hello, Minecrafters. Today I'm going to show you a system for dealing with automated minecart systems. Now, one of the problems that you get with these endeavors is that you can get minecarts bunching up or too many in a single area and just causes problems for the system in general. So what you really need is a buffer zone that will queue up minecarts waiting for others to complete what they were doing. So for example, say you've got a line going into your base and you've got an area here where a minecart's doing work, but you don't want other minecarts to enter while something's happening here. Once it leaves, then they should be free to enter. So this is the buffer system. Now this is based off of a Pez dispenser with some significant differences in that you want the buffer to be open when there's no minecarts doing work in the system, and only closes once one comes through and enters. So now the gate is closed, the minecart does its work, and once it leaves, the gate is open again. Now this can deal with large numbers of minecarts close to each other in the system. And what will happen is they'll all get queued up while they wait patiently for their turn. And then queue is the next one. There we go. Now this is not a timed system, so even if something is taking an unusually long time in the area, that'll remain shut until this one's ready to leave once it triggers this detector rail right there. Now I've got a couple of bonus features here, some manual buttons. These are optional, but they can be used to override the system. And so that if we want to do some work over here, for example, this will remain shut. Then we can bring it back to operational status, and off it goes. All right, now I've broken apart the system, showing mostly just the essential blocks here. And as you can see, this is a pretty compact system. It's a relatively simple build as well. So here is the basic operation. So this differs from the Pez dispenser. Pez dispenser is generally used as storage, with the carts needing a positive activation to go through, whereas this is automated and is typically in the open position and only closes once this tripwire is triggered. Then it will wait for the reset line to get triggered somehow before opening again. Now, this is not using a trapdoor, and the problem with the trapdoor is that whether it's open or closed will prevent minecarts from falling through. It's only when it opens and the trapdoor hitbox clips into the minecart does it let one through. Or in this case, when we've got minecarts in it, I'll stack up a couple here, you'll notice that the fence gate has an invisible half a block tall hitbox here that is holding the minecart up. And then you'll notice that the tripwire string runs through that hitbox. Now this does need to be above. If you put the tripwire below, it's going to be too slow. And by the time the tripwire is hit, 2 or 3 minecarts will have gone through before the gate closes. Alright, let's go around and look in back here. So basically, this is really just a latch here. But it does have to be really fast because you only have 2 ticks to close this gate once the tripwire is triggered. Otherwise, too many minecarts will go through. And the problem is the torch already takes up 1 tick. So you need a latch that operates within 1 tick, and I don't think any exists. If you know of one, feel free to leave me a little note in the comments down below. So what's happening here is the tripwire is taking a little shortcut, directly turning off the torch, waiting for the latch to power up here and catch up. And then we'll reset from the other side here. Now there's other kinds of latches that you can use. This one does have the advantage, using the droppers, has the advantage of being edge triggered. The reason for that is that this reset line needs to be shorter or the same length as the tripwire line input, and that almost never happens. So what happens with a traditional latch is when this gets reset, then the minecart falls through, triggering this, but this line is still powered during that time, and so that flips back again, and you don't want that. So this way it only resets once the line gets depowered and then powered again. You can get around that by inserting a monostable circuit here, or otherwise known as a one-shot pulse. But this is small enough that you really might as well go with this. The only downside, and the word of caution here, is that these droppers have what's called quasi-connectivity. And this can cause all kinds of problems when you have circuitry packed in. So if you have like a bit of redstone dust there from some other circuit or a torch, it's going to interfere, and it's really unpredictable how it interferes sometimes, because even an unpowered redstone dust that's not connected here can cause problems. And this is one of the reasons I really don't like quasi-connectivity, but it's what we have to deal with right now. As it so happens, this circuit's simple enough that you really don't run into that issue. Alright, I'll go ahead and put together a real quick tutorial here. Alright, so the first thing we start with here is we've got our rail going into the block here, and this is where the carts are going to drop down. So what we'll need to do is we're going to build a little frame around this. We're going to go 2 up on either side, and we're going to kind of make this V shape, if you will. And now to place the fence gate, we're actually going to need to break this rail temporarily here so that we can put the gate on top of it. And now once that's there, we can go ahead and put the rail back in. Alright, now we'll go ahead and put the tripwire on either side and the bit of string in the middle, just like that. And then you can add some buttons here. These are completely optional, and you can I'll get a lever on this side, and I'll explain what these do at the end here. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and go around the back here, and we're going to offset this a little bit. So what we're going to need is come down 1, and we're going to go 2 out from here, and we're going to go 2 out from here, and we're going to make this loop. And you can see it's offset just a little bit to one side here. And so now from here, we're going to use droppers, and we're going to place these facing each other right on this outside corner here, like this. Alright, we'll go ahead and put one item inside. Doesn't matter what it is, just as long as there's one. And we need a couple more blocks here. And we're going to drop one down here to fill in this little hole, right like that. So now to control the gate, we're going to put a torch there. And then we're just going to wire up redstone right around the edges, just like this. And then we're going to need one comparator there. And now the reset line can come into anywhere along here. It doesn't really matter where it is. It's typically just coming off the edge here like this. And this will be where the reset's coming from. Alright, that's the basics of the build there. And we can go ahead and make sure that this works. So that's the open button. When we trigger the wire, it should instantly close like that. And you can click the open here and open right back up. Now I've also got a close toggle to go down, but also this completely overrides the system. The reset button will not function, the open button will not function, and that's useful there. If you don't want a complete override and you just want an off toggle, swap that with a button and you'll get a closed toggle without interrupting the rest of the system. Now a couple things about the top of the Pez dispenser here. There's a number of ways you can drop carts in. I like it. This seems to work pretty well this way with the disconnected track powered in here. I forget where I've seen this particular technique, but it seems to work better than just having the carts drop in. But, you know, that's a lot of leeway in how you build that. Alright, well, thanks for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe if you have these videos give you value. It really encourages me to make more. Alright, thank you. Bye-bye.